All right, guys, part 3. So after we told Randy what had happened and all the crazy incidences, the second time we were out there, we had some other things happen. We had some horse tack fall down and start swinging in front of us that nobody had touched anything. It was hanging on the wall next to the wood burning stove that we were trying to load more wood in. It was probably springtime, so still pretty chilly out. And then there was another incident when my second son was probably 8 months old or so. We were out visiting my dad. My oldest would have been about 3.5 at the time. And same thing, it was kind of chilly. I think it was January or February. And so we were hanging out at the cabin and we had just gotten into town and my youngest son was teething really bad. So I was going to go into town and go get him some teething medicine and some supplies that we needed. And my husband couldn't find his wallet. And we're looking everywhere. It's like, you just sat down. Like, we haven't even been here 10 minutes. We just got here. Where is your wallet? So it ended up being across the room on a couch he hadn't even sat in since we had been there. His wallet was shoved underneath a cushion on a couch he hadn't even sat on. So that was another really weird thing. And then we had gone, we were sitting in the living room of the cabin and my youngest son, Alan, was in a walker, a baby walker. Just playing, and he was teething still really bad. And so we had given him a piece of cardboard out of like a beer case, just something to play with that he was just chewing on, just munching on. He starts crying. So we're looking and he lost the piece of cardboard, and it's like, there's hardwood floors. We looked under furniture, we looked everywhere. It like vanished into thin air. So we joked that George, the ghost, was actually keeping something as a souvenir for when we came and visited. So the other instance was we had found out later from the family that the cabin was built by George. George was his name. It was Randy's dad. And it was his favorite hangout spot. So all his buddies and everybody would come hang out at the cabin. And it was on like 2,000 acres was the land that the family owned. And so this little cabin sat on about 10 acres of that. So long story short, George was going home one night from the cabin and he ended up, I think, having a heart attack behind the wheel, and he died not far, maybe less than a mile down the road from where the cabin sits. And it was his absolute favorite spot. So the family kept it just to be able to kind of have those memories of George, and everybody kind of hung out there. That was like their favorite spot to be. Cute little quiet spot, great little getaway spot. So at the end of all of this, when my dad moved out and he was moving to another place in Tennessee. Okay, so the last and final encounter that we were having with George, my dad was moving out of the cabin and he promised